Clearly not the way that we wanted to end the game. We've got to be better in the fourth quarter. Just got done in the locker room with our guys, and I said there should be hurt, there should be frustrations. Pin this one on me. Obviously, we didn't do enough to finish the game the right way. Turnover on offense, and then obviously costly special teams mistakes in the fourth quarter. We did some decent things as a team throughout the game, but clearly not enough to finish the game. We've shown that we were capable throughout this year of being a great fourth quarter team, and that's something we wanted to hang our hat on. We talked about wanting to start fast. We were able to do that and do some things, but defensively, some of those fourth downs, conversions that were huge for Houston. The special teams blunders, right? Giving up a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, not being able to recover an onside kick. All those things are reasons for why we're frustrated and lost that game tonight. We've got to continue to play at a higher level. Offense has to be consistent in our execution. The young men in our locker room believe, they battle, they care. Our hopes, goals, and dreams are not lost. We will continue to fight and continue to improve and find ways to execute at a higher level. I've got great faith in this group, and I know that we're capable. I've got to be better. We all got to be better. And these young men will continue to believe and push and be all in with the direction we want to take this thing one game at a time. As soon as we're able to learn from this one and move forward, we're ready for another conference game versus East Carolina.
Ryan, if you could just take us through the two-point conversion in the fourth quarter, what was behind the decision and what kind of was the process behind just after the trick play, why go to?
Yep, because if you look at the scoring relevance of where it takes, the opportunity then to make it, I believe at that point, a three-possession, three-score game, if you will, however it looks. It's generally, and again, like we talked about before, and here at analytics and all that stuff, but that was a right move. I'd do it over, and I think every coach in the country would, just based off where we were in that game. There's some things, at the end of the game, the thought was even, do you kick the field goal to make it whatever the score was, or do you try to go and get the first down and end the game? But it was a fourth and long. Our field goal kicker had been great, but the idea to go for that two-point conversion was the right one, and no regrets on that whatsoever.
Going into this game, we talked about the slow starts and the strong second halves, and in this game it seemed like it flipped. How do you go about getting them to play a full four quarters?
Yeah, absolutely, Frank. That's one of those things we talked, the last few times we've been up here about being able to play great in the fourth quarter, and that's a thing that you want as a head coach, to know that your guys are capable of finishing. And all week we talked about being disciplined and starting the game fast, and we did do that. And then it's now just being able to put it in stack good things, right? Last week I stood up here and I told you guys I really think our special teams is improving, and we were getting better. And then tonight we took a step backwards. In certain units, obviously, we've got to improve upon. And our kickoff coverage unit continues to be one of the worst in the country. And that's very, very concerning. Sometimes we had some pretty good kicks, but obviously not where we need to be from a coverage standpoint. So you look at it from a complete standpoint, right? I thought the O-line did some really good things tonight, but then weren't able to sustain. We need to get that run game going on a consistent basis. Wasn't there. So I think, Frank, in order to play a complete game, we got to be clicking on all cylinders at all time. Yes, it's college football. You're going to give up some points. You're going to give up some yards, and you're probably going to punt the ball. Reality is we have not shown to be a consistent team in all three phases for four quarters, and I've got to find a way to make sure that we're doing that, make sure we're practicing the right way. The focus level has to continue to be there. We know we're capable, but that's on me as a head coach to make sure that we're playing consistent football for all four quarters.
Even after the kickoff return, you're up 13 with under 4 minutes to go. Is part of you sitting here going like, how the hell did this just happen? Are you feeling like hard to come to grips with?
Yeah, Mark, it's obviously frustrating, right? I've been a part of victories like that. I've been a part of losses like that, in this career. It is, there's no easy way to lose a football game. But when you have every opportunity to get it, you get off the field on one of those fourth downs, probably game over, right? You recover the onside kick, we're taking the knee, and we're all smiles and joy up here. But that's the reality of the college football. We didn't do what it took, and that's on me. I got to find ways that we're executing better, and it is. The one thing is our guys believed we just got to continue to stay locked in for the entirety of a game.
Hey, Coach, I know you said it's week to week, game to game, but some games linger longer than others, even though you don't want them to, because a game like this, when the game you thought you could have won and been in a position to win, how do you make sure your guys don't come Monday all thinking back on what we did Saturday, what we did Friday, and Tuesday not thinking about what we did, and carry on to East Carolina and make that one loss, two losses?
Yeah, absolutely, right? I always say this one, you can never let a loss beat you twice, and you can never let wins carry over, right? And it's so much of every week's a new season in college football, and I think with the approach that our guys understand, it was a short week, and this one's going to hurt, right? I mean, it's normally I'm pretty good about coming up and just saying, okay, I'm going to be able to put this one to bed, but there's so much to learn from. But the great news about our guys is they know the challenges ahead for East Carolina. So, like we've talked about, even in wins, right? We talked about even after the Navy game, it's just putting those blinders on and focusing on one game at a time, no matter what happens. And our guys will have that focus because they know everything we still want in front of us. We know how crazy this conference is. There's a reason that Houston was picked to win the conference. They're a very talented team. And our guys, the hope is not lost. And so, if anything, and I don't ever want to say this, but maybe we're a little bit hungrier. And our guys practice hard. They study hard. They do all the right things. They really do. Lack of execution is what led us to where we are right now. But our guys will be immensely focused on the task at hand for East Carolina. We'll learn from this game film on Sunday. And the one thing I know about those young men in that locker room, they're going to be, okay, got it. Let's learn from this. Let's improve. And 1,000% of our focus will be on East Carolina.
I do want to ask about your use of Gabe Rogers today. You guys had some creative plays. What did you see out of Houston's defense that made you think you could execute some of those the way you did?
They play a lot of a version of cover one, man-free stuff, and sometimes when you have a talented player like Gabe, trying to find ways to get him out in space. Obviously, we know he can throw the football and do different variety of things. Go back. Obviously, we're a new team. They're a new team, but they've had they've done some really good stuff on defense, and we're trying to find ways to take advantage of some of the stuff they had showed on film. Gabe's talented, as we well know, and we'll try to put him in spots where he could have success. Obviously, a little bit of spark for our offense, which is good to see. He's going to continue to be a high priority in this offense moving forward.
Speaking of the offense, Ryan, you guys did start fast, but Chris Howard got a lot of field goals in there. So is it concerning for you guys? I mean, obviously he played well, Chris Howard did, but are you guys concerned that the offense was not able to get enough touchdowns to sustain some of those long drives and into the end zone?
Yeah, we always want to have touchdowns instead of field goals, absolutely, right? And then we're going to look and say, okay, was there something differently maybe we could have done in the red zone? We're always going to be pleased when we're making the field goals, but how do we finish those drives? Because if one of those had come away with a touchdown, maybe it's a different narrative right now. But we practice pretty diligently on red zone offense, and so we're going to look and say, okay, was there something differently we could have done down there? And just being able to finish drives, right? That's offense and defensively. Just being able to do things those ways at a high level of execution, and we're going to look at everything we're doing. All is not lost by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah. So we got to be more efficient in the red zone in order to come away with sixes instead of threes.
On the final drive, you get the first down, and then you call the timeout. Did something happen there where it got
Well, so if you look at the clock, no, it was not disarray. So, we do a huge deal, like game management's obviously one of those things that's always on a head coach. And if you look at it, so if there was, I believe, that second snap, guys, if you guys can correct me, maybe 11 seconds is when the timeout was called. And so if you look at how long it takes to get a team up back on the ball, okay, and if you kill it, it puts it at 8 seconds. And so 8 seconds you're really looking at, you're going to throw and maybe get a first down and timeout. Maybe you're going to try to run an out of bounds play. So my belief is generally anytime under 18 seconds, if you have a timeout in your pocket, even after a first down, you got to burn it. Because what happens is now these clocks, and you guys are noticing in college football, they're actually rolling it quicker on first down. So I didn't want to leave us with all of a sudden 7 or 8 seconds in a situation, and then all of a sudden you're saying, man, we went to the end of the game without the timeout. It gives us a chance to, okay, get Seth and the offense on the sideline and say, okay, what do we want to do for a last play and then possible field goal range. And so I would have done the timeout again. We weren't just ready, but anytime you got guys downfield, getting them back and then saying, okay, what's the next play call, or do it. But I think anytime, especially when you get under 18 seconds, you got to be smart, because it does us no good to go away without the timeout.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, guys.